Peace YouTube, it's your man DJ Kane that's back again with another one right here in the lab in sunny South Florida. If this is your first time to my page, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so every time I upload some new content, you'll be the first to know. Before I let you know what we're gonna do today, I wanna give a shout out to the homies DeeJay.com for hooking me up with today's fits, representing the 305 South Florida home team all the way live. Today we're gonna chop up some soul samples once again. We're gonna use the London Limited record here that's produced by your man Barry White and arranged by Barry White and Gene Page. This one comes out of a good year, 1973, which is an amazing year for soul. A lot of joints on this record that I actually wanted to touch, but today we're just gonna focus on the joint called Someone Really Cares for You. And on that note, let's get it cracking. What up, y'all? All right, so like we said, we got a joint we're gonna sample today. It's this joint, this Love Unlimited. There's actually there's a few songs on here that I had to decide which one I wanted to do. Ultimately, I settled on Someone Really Cares for You. And this is a really good album, to be quite honest. If you listen to this album, there's a familiar sample on here that Ninth Wonder made a beat with when he did the Black Album remix that he put out. The Jay-Z Black Album, he remixed the whole thing. And there's a beat on there that if you listen to this record, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sample snitch or anything like that. But if you got a good ear, it shouldn't be too hard to find. So let's go ahead and let's see what we can do. All right. At this point, I like to see if I have the beginning and ending of the sample to the point where it'll loop, right? So in order to do that, I go back here to my one shots, right? And I put it to ADSR. So I have to hold it for it to go. And then what I do after that is I go into sampling again. And we're gonna go to the zone tab right here, right? And then if you tab over, you'll see it says loop active. Now the loop is on. So now I can go back to the edit screen here and you can see that there's actually a zone here now that we can play with and see if this loops. Let's see. All right, so we need to edit the ending a little bit. There we go. All right, that's like a perfect loop right there. All right, I just saved the joint. And the reason why that I wanted to see if it was a perfect loop is because I need to truncate the beginning and the end of this sample. So just the pieces I need is there. And the reason being is because when I do a slice with Maschine, it basically slices the whole sample even though you have an in and an out point. So what you have to do is you got to trim the beginning and the end so that you just have the piece that you need for it to do the perfect slices. So what I did was I have this, right? If you look on the screen, see we have a zone for a loop, right? And basically what happens is I want to keep my whole sample just in case I need something later on. So what I did was I copied this pad, this whole sample, to another pad, right? So now if we go back to this pad, right? It's just a sample chopped. See what I'm saying? So now I can do this. See what I'm saying? So I can just keep triggering it to loop. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because if I go over here to slice, now I can set this up many different ways. I can set it for transients. So basically, it chopped it by like the transients, right? But that's not what I want. I want to do a split. All right, so now it's doing a split. And then I can also do like a grid. I can do manual slice. Let's work with split, and let's split this 8 times. So basically, now that I have it split, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm going to apply that to a group. Let's say group B. And what are we gonna do here? We're gonna apply that to B, all right? All right, so the first thing we have to do here, right, is we're gonna select all, okay? And we are going to set that to a choke group, right? So now they cut each other off. Right? What we got to do is try and see if we have a tempo, right? Get a tempo set up. All right, so let me take it back off a slice. That's slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's super slow. That's at basically 68.98. So we're basically at Griselda West Side Gun tempo, which is not really what I'm trying to do today. So let's go ahead and speed that up, right? So let's go over to sound. All right, let's see how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're at like 88, if I did that correctly. So let's see. Let me go over here, set that back to 80 HR. So now I have to hold it, put the metronome on, and let's see if we can get it to match up. Not bad. Let me put it back to 1 shot and see if I can trigger it. Okay, I think the metronome's a little fast. All right, something is fast. So this is the crazy thing about samples, right? It's a trial and error thing. It's either the sample's too fast or too slow, or the tempo is too fast or too slow. So now you have to play around. All right, so now that we kind of got an idea of the tempo, right? Let me go over to the second group here. Let me select all, and then let me go ahead and tune that to, I believe that was 411. Yep, 411. So all right, let's see if we can get that pattern down, and then we'll do some chops and rearrange it. All right, so there it is. We have the main pattern, right? Let me turn the metronome off. Now what's cool about that is you can speed this up or slow this down like this. So right now I'm at 106.5. back to 8805. Let's slow it down. Now you're gonna have the little gaps because we slowed it all the way to 7605. Back to the original tempo. Let's say we need to speed it up, you know. That's 9905. And what's good about that is when you chop these samples like in little pieces like that, that's how you're able to speed up the tempo and slow down the tempo and still kind of have the sample at the same pitch, I would say. And you're able to actually speed up the BPMs or slow it down. So if you didn't know that, I'm pretty sure anybody who makes beats knows about micro chopping. And if not, hopefully you learned something new from your boy KNS. All right, so next we're gonna do is another pattern. Let's quantize that. All right, light work, light work. All right, I just quantized it. Or let's see, we're gonna let this play for 6 bars and then go to the last sequence, the last pattern to make up the 8 bars, and we'll repeat that twice. So it'll go something like this. So we got 3 patterns now. So you already know what time it is. It's basically time for some drums. All right. Or maybe I might do the bass first. Who knows? But I think let's lay down some drums. I always like to start with, you know, just a standard hi-hat, and then I'll switch it up later. So for this, let's go ahead and get a pattern going. We'll make that 2 bars to match. All right, so let me go ahead and record that in. All right, so I changed out the drums because they were driving me crazy. And this is what I got. A little bit, you know, punch here. So also I took out the hi-hat because it's time to actually do something different. So what we're gonna do is we're going to lay down a shaker instead. Here we go. All right, so let's shake it kind of low. So That's cool. So let's toy around with a bass line real quick. All right, so I'm gonna try and lay down a bass line using a plugin called Monarch by Native Instruments, and I'm gonna use the complete control keyboard here this time instead of the pads. So we're actually doing well. Let's try it out. All right, so let's do a bass for the last pattern, right? And see how that goes. All right, so I went ahead and put all these patterns together in the scene, and I'm gonna play everything chained together. So basically you have the first pattern, which is the chorus pattern for now, right? And then we have two patterns, which is chained together for the verse. So I'll probably play around with the bass line some more. Like there's three methods, right? Three of what I utilize to make my basses, right? It's either I'm doing it on the pads, right? That you might have seen in one of my previous videos, or I do it on the complete control keyboard. And the third way is actually drawing it in on the grid, like how a lot of people do on Fruity Loops. You know what I'm saying? Just put some notes on there and shift it up and down and side to side and see how I can formulate a bass line. But for the sake of the video, I'm not gonna do that on camera, right? Because that takes some time. That's a lot of trial and error. And it's my least favorite method of trying to do a bass line. But you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the end result, which is basically, is the beat hot or not? You know what I'm saying? Is the MC gonna mess with it? Can you make a good song? So here go the first joint. This is gonna be the first scene, and then I'm gonna chain it. Let's go to the first part of the verse. Let this hit one more time and then we go to the second part. Back to the chorus. All right, so you know, that's what we got so far. And, you know, for the sake of the video, you know, we'll just end it right here, you know. All right. So with that said,
hey, yo, K&S, drop it on them.